Alright guys, today I'm going to show you how to run Hangar 30 in under 9 minutes. A Hangar is important because it offers the N13 cannons, which those are required for the recipe for the Wicklow missions to make the Atlas Itaki. But first thing we have to do is get a red card, so follow along and I'll show you the process on how I do that. Alright, I'm going to go skip ahead, but the main thing you want to do is find a place to park to where you don't get shot at and you're relatively close to the door. So I'll cut the boring part out and get right to it. Quick reminder, every time you leave your ship, always make sure to lock your shit up because you don't want to stow away or somebody else giving you a nice surprise when you come back after getting all your shit. Alright, now we're approaching the door, so it's always a good idea to recheck and restock your ammo if need be. If you don't know the macro for that, it is Alt 1, and you'll be able to re-pull your ammunition. But anyways, moving through, I really didn't care because I knew nobody was here. So just dart off to the left, duck down, basic stuff. As soon as you hit this corner, you're going to have two guards that you're going to come up to. Ghost 1, Ghost 2. Now there's usually a third one that hides over there, but he wasn't there this time. Then you're always going to have two that are hanging out over here, a couple that are down the hall, and two that are going to be behind the little stand thing, I guess. I don't know what to call it. Little rat-tat-tat, get that taken care of. Now I didn't see this third one, literally scared the shit out of me. Got me down to a tier 3 injury. Take care of that and everything is fine. Peek around the corner. This little bastard, he was sitting in a weird way. Had to fiddle with him. And he's taken care of. Alright, move down because there's plenty more guards to be had. Always check that balcony because every now and then there might be one sitting up there. And one immediately onto the corner. Good job paying attention, buddy. Now there's going to be at least two here, one armored, one not armored. Yeah, no real reason to rush too hard. Took a couple hits, back off, reassess, take care of him. Alright, now's a good chance to reheal. Because I have had it to where I will fall back to a position and they will come charging. Now typically when you get into this room you have two on the left and two on the right, but I did have one standing in the middle. That middle one was from the right, so I do have one more on the left. Check my corners, make sure I'm not going to get sneak shot. Bogey 1. And bogey 2. Alright, now that I'm safe, the rest of it's just the climbing puzzle of climbing up on these boxes, turning around, make the gap. Tricky at first, but once you get used to it, it's not bad. Climb up, drop down, turn the corner, check to make sure nobody's hiding, and get your key card. Now my paranoid ass, even though I'm messing around here, I'm always nervous about somebody sneaking up behind me because I've had it happen too many times. So I always just keep an eye on the door behind me just to be certain that another player is not going to come in. Now, instead of going out the front, I like to use the elevator because you never know. You don't want to run face first into somebody and you have that key card and they know it. I've also had cases of people camping up here too, so I check my corners and check everything around just to be certain. Whoever wants to wait up here really doesn't have a life. And that right there scared me at first, because if you have somebody camping waiting right there, knows where the let-out is, you never know. I just got lucky and nobody was there. But it never hurts to try to see if you can open it. Alright, now that we're back on the ship, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to make a quick jump, just somewhere to where I can get out of the way of the cannons and not have to deal with getting shot. There we go, and now it's a quick run back to Obituary. Alright, this also gives me a quick time to talk about the, let's see, the P6A, or not the P6AR, the P6A SMG. The Bearing SMG. I prefer it over the P4AR just because of the extra 5 rounds that you do have and the quick reload time. It actually is pretty handy, especially with what we're going up against next. So for now, until we get to the end of Hangar 30, this is going to be uncut. And if you want, try to memorize the route, memorize what I do, because this is the fastest way I've ever done it, really. I think this is the fastest. A little quick tip that I've learned from running these and dying from other players is hide your important stuff, your keys, anything. Hide them in your pants. Because 90% of the time, players only check the main screen, which only looks at your armor and your backpack. I've had it a couple times happen to where I've been down and I went for a revive and I came back. Come back to my body just to come back to my card that's still safe in my pants because I didn't think to check. And it's always handy to grab an extra fuse, because I think you're only going to need about 2 to get all the way to the end of the hangar. Now this door in itself doesn't give me the port to insert the fuse, so the easiest way to take care of that is just drop one and use your tractor beam to move it up in the right position. And of course, it's a pain in the ass to try to get measured and put in just right. I go straight through the hallways, especially since you go through contested zone 02. It is a straight shot to where you need to go. There are guards that are around here. My RNG, I lucked out to where there wasn't any. One thing I should have done before I even went down there was double check that balcony to make sure nobody was up there camping. That was bad on my part. Always, when you have a colored door like that, hurry up and close the shit out of it just because you don't want that thing open any longer than it has to be. Get shot at, but I really don't care because I'm trying to run this shit. Checking the corners. Usually where I stop and aim and look around is usually where you have NPCs that like to hide. Now, with that being said, you go straight into the medical clinic and that's where you get your first blue key card. I was lucky, nobody's been here recently. Check my ass, make sure nobody's sneaking around. Good little ammo check just to make sure we're good. Then run back out into the main floor, grab this second fuse that's sitting here on the wall, because you can never have enough fuses. Stay on the first floor, go straight, and bank off to the left, and there's your second fuse door. Now this one gives me the prompt, always put your weapon away before you try to insert anything, because it'll try to insert the firearm, you'll lose a fuse, and it won't even go in the door. Hurry up and close that shit. And then let's move. I got really lucky with the RNG for the AI that's supposed to be posted around here. Good here, good here. Very damn lucky. Now, I'm not too concerned about looting as I go. None of the real good stuff is here until you get into Hangar 30. Blue security door. Check coast is clear first. Not gonna get shot in the ass. Hurry up and close the shit out of it. Now, I just bought myself a half hour of time knowing that nobody's going to be able to sneak up behind me unless they already have a blue card from somewhere else. Good time to repull my ammo. Now this is where you can start to take things a little bit slower, a little bit more methodical, because you are getting deeper, but I don't give a shit. I'm trying to break a record. Alright, moving in, jump down. Be very careful there where you jump. If you jump too short, you will fall behind one of the little panels and you'll get stuck. Don't ask me how I know. A weapon crate, nothing good there. You're going to see me heal a lot more, especially after taking one or two shots, because I really don't want to take any chances the further I get in. And we are about 90% of the way through Hangar 30. Alright, blue keycard, time to bounce. Fuck the elevator. I like jumping off right here. Make sure we're clear first. As soon as we're clear there. I kind of got carried away with that. Check over there, make sure, jump off this rail. There's our blue door back on the first floor. Clear as good. Now this right here scared the absolute dog shit out of me. I've never seen two NPCs on the other side of this. But now I'm double checking, make sure nobody's there. Hurry up and close it. Now I just bought myself another half hour of time, so I've got 40 minutes before anybody really bothers me. But if you stuck with me this far, I really appreciate it. I just want to help out the org and make sure that they can get through this easy. But alright. Repull your ammo, make sure everything's good, make sure your health is good, my food is okay. Let's push in and see what we can find. As soon as I'm done repulling my ammo. Alright, when I usually hit the main floor, I like to push off to the left side because there's usually one or two enemies on that side, and it gives you a little bit better cover. I can see a good idea of what's going on. Move around, get distracted by some shiny stuff. I don't need to sit. Maybe I need some health. And it's garbage. Okay, move down, get surprised by two dickheads. See them sitting over there. Get the bright idea. Maybe I could toss a nade. Let's see what happens. Of course, they start shooting right before I throw. Alright, let's see what happens. Heal up because I do not want to take any chances, especially when I'm this close. Brother scares the hell out of me. Fall back a little bit more, get some more health. Now, my playstyle, you can start to see where I'm getting on edge just a little bit because one mistake and dying here, all that work was for nothing. Now this right here is what I like as soon as I turn back around. This right here is what I like to see. Is you've got these scatter guns, all these cannons, all these drugs and stuff. All this is just bunched around this elevator because 90% of the time, any regular Joe Blow thinks that the elevator's jammed up, which it's not. It's just, it's a weird way it thinks that something's on the elevator, but it doesn't. As you can see on my screen right here, it thinks that scatter gun's on. But I try to move it, see if I try to lower it, it gives me an error. So the one thing you need to do is I will check to make sure that nothing's stuck underneath the elevator. Nothing stuck above. And nothing around. So we need to get these dumbass fucking cannons out of the way. Because God forbid anybody that really needs them. Alright, now the business is taken care of. Let's get this last cannon out of the way because who really needs these scatter guns? I don't. Oops, see another. Okay, it's trying to walk its way back into the... Oh, I see why. Because fuck that dude. Let's just get this shoved out of the way. Let it land on him, and let's try this again. Ta-da! Now this is where I start to freak out because I trap myself and it's like, oh shit. But 90% of the time when you hit this hangar and you see all these scatter guns jammed up against the elevator, it's not going to work. And a lot of people don't put two and two together of, oh, well, we need to clear things out of the way. And then once you do get things cleared out of the way, there he is. Once you do get things cleared out of the way, and make sure that there's nothing caught in the elevator floor, it works just fine. You can load as much as you want. And as you can see here, I take my sweet time. Well, not really, but make sure things get stuck to the floor. And make sure you do it in little spurts. You don't want to try to make some big score of like 40, 50 items on the elevator to go down, and then all of a sudden it jams up. I like to make little multiple drops throughout the whole time I'm there. So like with everything that's right there, get that thing out of the way because it's gonna get me killed. Hit the elevator, send that shit down. Now the real mission, we've got to look for the NN13s because that is vital for the Idiki. It's going around, one scatter gun, second scatter gun. Now there's only two more spots that we can look at for. Oh, right up there. Get that right there, and there's our NN13 canning, which makes this whole trip worth it. Now I'm over here shitting my pants, hoping to God I don't get shot. And if anything, I'm gonna make damn sure I get that cannon on there. Lock that bad boy down, and now I don't care. I can die in here, and I'm good. One more thing, when you do get enemies clear, which it's ever so often they spawn back in, but if you can get on top of this little tower and climb up to the top, you can see the top two rungs where the weapons are stored, and you could get lucky, and they might be the cannons that you're looking for. As I'm done searching here, peek over. That's where the first one should be. The second one, oh, gotta dispatch this dude. The second one is right there. Oh, thought I heard somebody. Nope. Now there's another spot for it to spawn. Make sure you pick that bad boy up. The more you pick up, the less duping you gotta do later. Let's go ahead and set that thing on the ground. And our second spawn, that's where it is. Right above that big ass scattergun that nobody ever picks up. So we have our first spot right there. Our second spot right here. We hop down real quick. Third spot for it to spawn right here. Which, fuck that cannon. And the fourth spot right here. Now let's hurry up and get these bastards on here, and then we'll be on our way. Alright, now with all the important stuff done, I'll see you guys topside. Now that we've made it back, let's hurry up and run over to our terminal and see what all we got. As soon as I stop getting lost. Alright, good haul. A couple repeaters, 3 NN13s, some more components, and some other cool stuff. Definitely got a shit ton of drugs too. But, yeah, not too bad, not too shabby. Alright guys, I really appreciate you sticking around and learn something. Hopefully you learned something. I don't know. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But, just wanted to help out. Until next time.